Hello, we're Tad and Cindy Aldrich. We were at Valley Bible Church from 1993 until December of 2000.
And we are very glad to be able to take part in your anniversary celebration, 85 years of the Lord's blessing. When we think of Valley Bible Church, things remembered, putting together this list that we have in front of us here, because old people needs lists. In other words, we may forget things if we don't. What came to mind is it's people. As I look down the list, one of the very first acquaintances that we had, began to develop, I should say, was with the Heberts. We came down to the church to kind of get a view of the church incognito, so we didn't want our full names out there. And staying at Marlin and Laverne's, he invited me to the men's study at the restaurant, community men's study. And being introduced, this is one of my friends, Tad, and someone welcomed me and said, "Well, Tad, what do you do?" Well, if I said I'm a pastor, that would have blown my cover right away. And so I said I'm a cardiologist, thinking that, well, I deal with people's hearts all the time. And after the study, a gentleman came up to me and sort of hesitantly said, "Well, doctor, I hope you don't mind my asking, but I've been having this kind of a funny sensation in my chest, my heart area, and I just wondered if you could tell me a little something." Of course, then I knew I was caught red-handed, and so I had to confess. But that was the beginning of our relationship with people. The staff at Valley Bible Church, we so much enjoyed, appreciated. Beth, I'm sure she's going to probably be administrative assistant up in heaven, although maybe she'd rather do something else up there. Pastor Steve, his heart, his passion for the youth, just a blessing to be able to work with him. Al in the choir, one of the highlights for me, for us, I think we could say. You like choir, you like to sing. She sings in the shower, you really ought to hear. Was doing that.
I would have to say that some of my fondest memories are those that involve hospitality in our home. The women's Bible study that I hosted in our home for several years, and then as well hosting, I guess, at the Wednesday night Chuck Wagon dinner, greeting the people as they came, and just helping in that way. I really just love people and loved being around all those at Valley Bible Church.
Well, mentioning the Wednesday night dinners, that of course centered around Awana and the great outreach that was. I remember going with Pastor Steve on the bus, the route that he had set up so that we could reach out into our community. Another person that comes to mind that you will all know well, at least most of you, Roger Trotman, who pastored there a couple pastors before we got there. Once we got into town, I got a call, and here's this gentleman, I'm Roger, and welcome to Valley Bible. And so I started to go to the Ministerial Association meeting in Bakersfield, and they're getting to know Roger, and over the years we did weddings and funerals together. I had him speak at a men's retreat. It was just a great opportunity. Another thing, as far as people in the community, the Ministerial Association, I think, is one of the best that over my years of pastoring. The oneness in heart, that's where I met Moses Baca, that is, and meeting also with Dave Gabrant, Mike Petrola, the Mennonite Brethren Church and Congregational Church. When I got into town, got a call from Mike inviting me to join them for just a time to get together weekly to laugh, cry, pray together. The men's retreats, as I mentioned, having Roger speak at one, and those evolved then, bringing up the suggestion to the Ministerial Association, well, why don't we combine our men's retreats? And so we called it the Church of Shafter Men's Retreats, and had, if I remember right, 5-6 churches involved, going up to Twin Oaks, out of Caliente. I nudge her so she can say a few things as well.
One of our fondest memories are the pastor appreciations, and thinking of the year Courtney and Leela put so much work into it with the stickers that we all wore, and Corny had his on his forehead, and Corny was just always such a delight to be around. And one of the memories we have too is he came to our house one day and borrowed a hose, and when he returned it, he said, "I'll have to pay you back for this." And for probably the next couple years, every now and then he would bring us what he called installments, and his installments were the buckets of licorice from Costco.
Another people item, it was at the 70th anniversary, and so talking with Beth and staff and what we do to make this a very special thing, and we thought, well, just have a little memento, and so you can get pens with the church name on them. So we ordered, I forget how many hundred Valley Bible Church pens that we would have at the celebration dinner, and they arrived in time for the dinner if they had the right wording on them, but rather than Valley Bible Church, they said Valley Bible Crutch. And some people like to think of a church that way, but it's the personal interaction at a church that helps us grow in our walk and relationship with the Lord. And that, of course, is what church is really all about, growing in that relationship and helping each other to do that.
We just want to thank you for giving us this opportunity, and we look forward to being with you.
We do, and God's blessing, and my son there who's running this camera is just giving me these funny looks because he really thinks Dad's weird, but that's okay, I love him. The end, good, thank you. Now, can you load that onto the